I'm Dr. Stephen Andrew Missick. I'm running for Texas State Legislature, HD 18. And today's report, we're going to talk about various things. The first thing we're going to talk about is we had someone who's supporting a campaign show up today, and she gave me a copy of this letter. I'd referenced this before in other campaign videos that I put out. But this is the letter published by Ken Paxton. It's addressed to the members of Congress, and this is dated October 19th, 2023. And what's significant about this is this full quote. I'm going to need to start putting on the push cards. But I want to read here. This is about Colony Ridge and the scheme that Colony Ridge is pulling over, corrupt business dealings. And it's about MMDs, municipal management districts, and how this is being used to create this hub of human trafficking. But it's very interesting at the end here where he says, I am beyond disappointed in Senator Nichols and Representative Bales for apparently working to enrich specific developers at enormous cost to the rest of the public and reducing the quality of life for their own constituents. I have watched journalists and politicians alike downplay this problem. In lockstep, they minimize the scale, cost, and worst of all, the unjust deprivation of self-governance endured by the people of Texas who never assented to the creation of the sprawling, unincorporated, ungoverned zone that caters in no small part to other countries' citizens, but forces us to pay for the associated cost. And this shows that Ernest Bales doesn't care about anybody but himself, that he would do this to his own fellow countrymen. I mean, people that live in Liberty and in San Jacinto, the area which he says, well, my family has lived here since the 1800s. Well, a lot of people who he's forcing off their land because it's dangerous, it's unsafe, it's out of control. Colony Ridge is a threat, and thank God for Ken Paxton. And this whole article or letter needs to be read. He also talks about Cleveland ISD. So I want to thank my friend for bringing this over, and I'm going to read this thoroughly. And like I said, I've read excerpts, or been exposed to, or shared excerpts from, but this is the whole letter, and I haven't seen the whole letter, I haven't read the whole letter yet. But this is very important, and God bless Ken Paxton. And he's smart, he's effective. That's why they impeached him. And think about this: Bales impeached Ken Paxton, the best Attorney General in the United States, the most effective fighter against the corrupt, oppressive, tyrannical Biden regime. So this is important. I appreciate that, and these are issues we can focus on. So we're also thinking about keeping things simple. I put 2 videos out, which are like kind of campaign stump speeches, and I realized, what about hitting 10 points? Well, I think I need to hit less than that. So I did like 7 points. I did one video I thought ran too long. It's like 30 minutes. It's like I need to keep it 10 to 15 minutes long. So now I do have a video out there which is 10 to 15 minutes long. Well, it's actually 50 minutes long, succinctly showing or exploring or promoting my campaign priorities. So what about this area? Liberty, San Jacinto, East Montgomery County, and Hardin County. What are the needs of that community? This is actually a very diverse community. I did campaign in Dayton, Liberty, Kuntz, Silsbee, and Hardin County, Lumberton, and that area is very different from here in Cleveland and up in Shepherd as well. So let's look at these priorities. I think this goes across the entire district, and this is what surveys have been showing. The number one issue is the border. And out of all the candidates, I'm the only one who's actually worked the border for 4 years. Through experience, I know the border. I lived in the border. Like for those 4 years, I actually worked directly with Customs and Border Patrol. And I've been to the ranch lands on the border. I've been to the points of entry. So I know the border very well. And I've seen the effects of bad policy, and I've seen the effects of good policy. And I want to mention, I just want to go through these really quick, but right now we have to have legislation. I believe that, well, they need to stop catch and release. They need to return to what's called the Migrant Protection Protocols, which is also known as Remain in Mexico. Those policies worked. We need the wall. I mean, people on the border, 90% Hispanic community want the wall down there. It protects their community because there's so much cartel activity in the northern Mexican states that border our country, and we need to keep our border, our nation safe, our state safe. So we need a border wall, and we need to have good legislation to protect our border and to do more. And like I said, I really believe that Governor Abbott could do more, but he's done some very good and powerful things, effective things on the border, such as shipping people to sanctuary cities like New York and Chicago so that they can share the burden, and also they see the disastrous consequence of their policies. I want to mention in passing that what's going on right now is deliberate. The Biden regime is trying to bring as many illegal aliens into this country as fast as possible. That's what New York is doing. This is not incompetence, this is by design. And they have a sinister design for this country, and they believe they can implement it through illegal immigration. So I know the border issue, and I know how to solve it. So I got a lot of border expertise and experience these other candidates don't have. And I think that I have something to add in the State House. I don't know if anybody that's going to be in the Texas State Legislature has had the amount of experience. This isn't just book knowledge, it's experience working on the border. So I know the border. I remember they had this, after the shooting here, they had these, we're going to have a town hall meeting about the border, and the place was filled up. And they should have had me on the stage because and the funny thing is, you try to tell people what the border's like, and it's so horrible. Our border is so out of control, you tell people they can't believe it. They can't fathom it. And the news doesn't report on it, except for Fox. I have to admit Fox has done some good reporting on the border. So the next issue is, we need to have integrity. We need to hold our government accountable. We need to fight against corruption. And one of the problems we have is we need to have clean voter rolls. We have to have election integrity. And I've said this before. Look, I'll just be straight up what I believe. I believe that Donald J. Trump won the election. I'm a Trump supporter. I'm Mr. MAGA man, Ultra MAGA man. And it shows that if we don't have clean elections, then, we don't have a representative government. This is not our Constitution is being violated. That's the pact, the Constitution, that we have Republican form of government. And if we have voter fraud, then we don't have a representative government. And that's something that disturbs me very much. And I know for a fact that our voter rolls are not accurate. And if they're not accurate, that means they could be exploited. And it's very possible they are being exploited. So we have to have integrity, we have to have voting integrity, and we have to confront corruption. That's what Attorney General Paxton is dealing with, and our governor as well. Confronting corruption. We have to have integrity. Next is education. That's a big issue here. So, it affects us all with all these school bonds. I believe in school choice because I want to improve the quality of our students' education. I believe that's the way to do it. And I believe that, but it's not my opinion, it's a fact. The teachers' unions and teachers' associations are left-wing lobbyists and special interest groups that are the most powerful and effective supporters of the Democrat Party, and they're politicizing our children's education. So our children are learning less and less of what they used to know back in ages past, and what they ought to know. So our quality of education is declining, but at the same time, the intensity of political indoctrination in our public schools is even happening here in Texas. I know. I work in the education system. I know it. So we need to break the power of the left-wing teachers unions. I support homeschooling. And you hear these people, they rail against homeschooling, but then in COVID, our educational establishment was having everybody homeschool. Homeschool is good for kids. We need to support it, and I really believe that part of education is inculcating morals and ethics, and I think it's appropriate for parents to mold their Christian with a biblical or Christian worldview. And instead of secularist, humanist, atheistic worldview, learn in the public school system. That's why I support homeschooling, and we need to protect homeschooling and even encourage it. Look, if we have school choice and more homeschooling, the fact of the matter is most parents are going to elect to send their kids to public school, so it's not really hurting them in any way. It's just giving parents alternatives, and as they should. I mean, we all pay school taxes. They don't want us to have a voice in the education of our kids. And we need to speak up on their behalf. We need choices, alternatives. That's always better to have better choices so that you can compete and have improve the quality of education for our kids so that we can succeed in life. Isn't that what we want? Set our young people up for success. Healthcare. Healthcare is another issue. Healthcare is another important issue. And I'm a disabled veteran. I have military. Healthcare is an important issue. And I am a disabled veteran. I have service-related injuries. So I'm a disabled veteran. And, I have to deal with pain management from some of these injuries I sustained while on military duty. And, I have the VA, and it's not the best health care out there, but thank God for the VA, because without that I would have had no health care. And we need to find ways to reduce costs. If we can't do that, we need to make health care accessible to those that are in need. And that's another problem with illegal immigration is, they put them in the front of the line, and, they come over here illegally, and then they go to our emergency rooms in our hospital, and American citizens are deprived for needed health care, put in the back of the line. We need to take care of everybody, documented or not. We have to have love and compassion for all people. The Bible says God so loved the whole world, and we have to love everybody, regardless of the race, nationality, or ethnicity. But we need to take care of our people. We need to make sure that people get the health care that they need. It's a very complicated issue, I believe. I think the costs are artificially high. I can mention this really quick in passing, but used to be able to go to the food store and you can get medicines there for your animals, which are the exact same thing. You can afford to buy medicines for animals. If you go to the pharmacy and get the same thing, it costs hundreds of dollars or more sometimes. But the same thing can be bought at the feed store. Now they want you to have because COVID, people decided, well, I can go to the feed store, I can buy ivermectin, I can buy this, I can buy that. Now they want you to have a prescription from a veterinarian. But it used to be you could just go to the feed store and get some medicine like that. But it just shows that they're artificially making the cost of medicines and pharmaceuticals high, and they're depriving people of medical treatment that they need. It's not right. And however we have to do it, we need to take care, especially of elderly people that need medicine, or people with like me. In the service of my country, I was injured and I have to deal with pain management and other things. So healthcare is very important because we have to take care of all people. It's the golden rule. Jesus said, do unto others, you'd have them do unto you. I'm not a socialist at all. I'm a strict, rugged individualist, MAGA supporting Republican. And I'm also pro-life, but we have to take care of people. That's the essence of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Also, property taxes. I had put this on there because it affects a lot of people. We have onerous, oppressive, and exploitative property taxes. And I attended a lecture by Texans for Fiscal Responsibility. And the Republican Party used to tout itself as fiscally conservative, and they moved away from that. We have Paul Ryan his whole life. I'm a fiscal conservative. He became Speaker of the House, and he just started busting the bank and passing gazillion-dollar omnibuses. It's a shame, and it's like this shows that you've never serious about these issues. But these are issues we need to take seriously, and we're paying very high rates in property taxes, and it's not right. And I think that we need to, if we can't reduce property tax rates, and we can't because they're addicted to that, then we should just eliminate property taxes entirely. A lot of people say, in Texas you don't really own your land. The state owns it. You pay the rent to the state through property taxes. So we need to end property taxes. And of course, it's like, well, what about paying for schools? What about paying for government? I mean, Texas for Fiscal Responsibility says, what about all these billion-dollar surpluses the state of Texas has? That's our money. You're making us pay through the nose for property taxes. Why don't you give some of that money back to us and give us relief from this oppressive taxation? And since they're so greedy, we just are going to have a movement where we're going to say, look, if you had reasonable tax rates, I wouldn't complain about it. But this is so oppressive. The only thing that we could do, the only option we have is to eliminate property taxes. And Texans for Fiscal Responsibility shows that the government can the state of Texas can fund the entire government, including education, through other means, and they have plenty of money right now without property taxes. So that being the case, let's eliminate property taxes. So these are the 5 priorities that I'm going to keep it simple. There's a lot of other things I think are important, like the pro-life issue. But for right now, we're going to look at these 5 issues. You can look at my other videos. And we're having this Meet the Candidate event next Sunday on the 19th. So if you're able to come, we'll talk about these issues, give a brief campaign speech. You can meet and talk to me in person. So thank you so much. God bless you.
A super brain that will not rest. He'll right every wrong. Let us all try and help to soothe the savage breast.